my name's Chris Michael. I've, for the last 3.5, nearly 4 years now, been leading the development of the standards within OBIE. Been a real journey. I think we're getting close to the end of the regulatory bit of that, but I think there's still a lot more interesting work to be done. The access to data under PSD2 is limited to certain data sets, so there are commercial opportunities for banks to provide additional data. Identity attributes being a kind of key one, and there's quite a lot of active talk about that at the moment. I don't know whether it's that in itself could create a significant additional benefit over and above the business models that we're seeing at the moment. I mean, if you think primarily at the moment, we're seeing business accounting, wealth management, financial management packages. We're seeing lending being a big business case at the moment, but all of these are largely based on the data sets that exist at the moment. I think where this gets really interesting is when you start to blend identity data with payment initiation, and that provides a really good opportunity for new business models to emerge. I also think that something that we've been looking at it's on the roadmap for developing a standard for this thing called variable recurring payments. I think that's a little bit away still, but that's where you really start to get a new proposition in place, which could be a significant step forward in terms of payment APIs. Could really start to provide a very useful alternative to some of the kind of existing payment methods. But that's not a regulatory requirement, certainly not for sort of e-commerce type payments, but it is something that's allowable under the regulations and could really provide a commercial opportunity that works for banks, works for third parties, works for merchants, and most importantly works really well for customers. And I think that's the thing that I find really exciting about a potential business model that will get all sorts of people very excited. But I think it's a little bit away. What's happened in the UK has been probably, of certainly other markets, it's been the most sort of regulatory driven sort of framework for open banking, and also the first major market to sort of push forward with this regulatory approach. But you need regulations in every market because you need something to protect the customer. But the amount of the kind of amount of regulatory drive that you need or oversight that you need will vary enormously from market to market. Ultimately, the whole thing needs to be market driven though. If it's just regulation that's forcing a market to do something and the market itself isn't driving it and the end customer need isn't driving it, then you've missed the point. So, you absolutely need a balance. But I think what we will see in other markets is that the balance will shift more to a market driven approach. I think the balance is going to shift more in other markets who are going to see the benefits and start embracing this, because an API channel is another commercial channel and can offer very significant benefits. So I think yes, it's been tough for everyone in the UK. Probably it kind of had to be tough, and we made maybe we could say we made quite a few mistakes along the way, but we've got a lot of learnings from that. And I think other markets are now looking at that, saying how can we build off those learnings? And yeah, I think the balance will shift more to market driven approaches in other countries. FTX is a market-driven standards body in the States and is got a very strong membership now, sort of who's who of financial institutions in the States. OBIE in the UK, we took the decision very early on to partner with the Open Identity Foundation around the creation of the kind of security model for open banking. This model, many of you will know, called the FAPI profile. And FTX has also agreed to partner in a similar manner with the Open ID Foundation. So whilst there are differences between FTX and the UK standard, the kind of similarity is around adoption of the FAPI profile. That's also now largely the same profile that's being used for the Consumer Data Rights Standard in Australia. So I think, you know, there is actually quite a lot of synergy between some of these standards. So whilst you do have different standards in different markets, I think there is synergy there, and I think everyone's trying to move stuff closer together, which is a good thing.